of tomorrow. This is made through a structured learning process of prepared speeches, impromptu speaking sections, and most of all, a continuous positive feedback environment. At the club level, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience where members are empowered to improve their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Now, before we proceed with the session, there are a few announcements. Many of the members who have just joined would have received emails stating that your membership has been approved and you would now be able to access your pathways. And to help familiarize yourself with the same, I would advise all the members, in particular the new ones, to please watch the new member orientation video that was shared on our group. If any of the guests would like to know a little bit more about in detail, you can ping me on WhatsApp and I'd share the same with you. The second announcement is that we are going to be having the first Executive Committee Charter Installation Ceremony on 25th of April from 6:30 p.m. So I'd request all of you to please block your calendars and be there. Now, before we move ahead with the session, I'd like to share a small incident from my life this week. So my family and I have been restoring and watching some of our childhood videos this past week. And there was this one instance where we were sitting at different park benches and different families were at different groups. And without thinking, I quickly said, "Oh my goodness, look how close everyone's sitting." That's when I realized, of course, there was no COVID back then, and it was a perfectly normal scene. With the increasing rate of COVID, after a whole year of staying and working from home, it's easy to get discouraged, just as we were thinking of inching slowly back towards the normal life that we knew. And now the second wave of COVID has struck. But instead of allowing this depression to overwhelm us, one of the things that we can do is try to find at least one thing in a day to be grateful for. And for me, on a Sunday evening like today, there is just no doubt what that thing is. This meeting of strong, amazing, and beautiful women from across the globe who have wonderful stories and ideas to share makes me feel grateful, at least for this online platform of Toastmasters that has brought us here today as together for today's meeting. Now, as we move on for today's meeting, let's try and make the most of today's session and leave our worries outside the door and just enjoy being ourselves for the next 90 odd minutes. Now, to do that, we have a lady who plays the role called a Toastmaster of the Day. A Toastmaster of the Day acts as an anchor for the session as a whole and helps transition from different roles. Now, you remember that I just spoke to you about the increasing rate of COVID? Well, due to that, as well as a lot of high fever from a lot of our WIN Toastmaster members, we had a lot of last minute dropouts yesterday and today. So I'll be taking up an impromptu role of the Toastmaster of the day. So if I make a few mistakes or I have a couple of blunders, I'd request the general evaluator to pardon me from the beginning. Now, for the theme for today, what I decided to speak on was about globetrotting in the past 1 year. If I were to ask you, what do you think is the most unused item of 2020 till now? What do you think the answer would be? Any guesses?
Passport.
Yes, exactly.
Passport.
Yes, Toastmaster Nidhi, it's the passport. But before you start getting disheartened already, try and remember a time where passport was not the only key to traveling the world. When we were younger and we couldn't go places ourselves, we were told that our imagination is the passport and we can use it to go wherever we want. But the truth of these words truly eluded us until a global pandemic hit, where imagination and social media became our only passport to the outer world. How contrary human nature is. When we were free to travel, we were too busy to do so. But when we're forbidden from it, it's all we long for. And that's one more thing that the pandemic has taught me: learning to say yes more. Yes to going out. Yes to making time from our busy schedules to go for that trip with the college buddies. You never know when that opportunity would be taken away from you. There's a lady called Antonia Harrison. who since March 23rd of 2020 was sitting in UK when the lockdown started. Since then, she's had the chance of visiting 33 clubs across 5 continents, attending 5 different district conferences and more. All thanks to the internet, we are able to trot in any field that we choose, be it international literature, grooving to music, or marveling at works of art from all over the world. But being a part of Toastmasters has really helped me continue my travel to meet and learn about people from different cultures and more. At WIN Toastmasters itself, we have members from 5 different countries. Now, before you start making a travel plan already, let's remember that every travel plan comes with 3 parts. The first is the preparation or the packing. The second is the journey itself. And the third is the destination. In the same way, our Toastmaster session is also divided into 3 sections. The first is the prepared speech section, where prepared speakers will come and deliver their speeches. The second is the table topic section, where everyone gets a chance to speak about their journeys. And finally, the destination itself, the evaluation section to become better speakers and to surmise what we learned on our journey. And to help us with our evaluation section, today we have as general evaluator a lady who is known for the way that she delivers her speeches with passion and enthusiasm. But she doesn't just write good speeches, she has a great analytical capability and is the area evaluation champion of her Area K3 as well. Please join me in welcoming our general evaluator for the evening, Toastmaster Dahlia. Over to you, Toastmaster Dahlia.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dev. Let's keep going for her because she is somebody who brings about energy, enthusiasm into the meeting that we all want. So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. I am Dahlia Thakkar and I am going to be the general evaluator for the day. Now, if we have evaluators for the speeches, then what does a general evaluator do? Well, I am going to evaluate each and every person who's going to come up to the virtual podium. Well, I have this humongous and gigantic task ahead of me, but I have a team of wonderful 4 role players today. The first role player would be the timer for the day, Toastmaster Nasima. Ma'am, can I please have you on the stage to explain your role?
Yes. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. As a role of timer, my responsibility will be to keep track of the time taken by each speaker. I have 3 cards with me, green, yellow and red to facilitate that. I'll be flashing the green card at minimum time, yellow at mean time and red at maximum time. Today we have 2 prepared speeches and the time limit for both the speeches is 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be flashing the green card at 5th minute, yellow at 6th minute and red at 7th minute. I will be keep flashing the red card until the speaker stops speaking. There is a 30 minutes grace period at upper and lower end for prepared speech. For evaluation, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes. I'll show the green card at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5 minutes, and red at 3 minutes. There is a grace period of 30 seconds at upper and lower limit. And for table topics, the time limit is 1 to 2 minutes. I'll show the green card at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minute, and red at 2 minutes. There is a grace period of 30 seconds only at the upper limit. I'll present my report when asked upon to do so. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nasima. If you are doing the role for the first time, I can feel the chills that you are or would face. It's right there on your face. But don't worry, keep on taking the role and you'll be as fluent as it's possible. Moving on to the second role player, we have the R counter for the day, Toastmaster Neelu. Ma'am, can you please come up on the stage and explain your role to the meeting?
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. Today, I'm playing as a role of R counter. As we all are ladies here and we all have to cook every day. And if we will add the salt a lot, it would become tasteless, and less, then also it would become tasteless. So life is all about balance and stability. So I will keep track as a balanced manner. My role as a counter is to note and keep track of words and sound used as crutch or fillers words by anyone who speaks during the meeting. The use of inappropriate interjections such as and, will, but, so, like, as well as sound like L will be met with an audible click. I will note any uses of crutch or filler words and will give my report when I will call upon to do so. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Neelu, and I hope that all of us can have that perfection blend of all the spices that we are going to experience in this wonderful meeting today. Moving on to the third and the final role player who's going to help me and make my job so easy is the grammarian for the day. Toastmaster Momenda, can we please have you on the virtual stage?
Thank you, Toastmaster Dalia. Good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So my role as a grammarian is to keep track of all the good usage and not so good usage of grammar, or mispronunciations, or any excellent usage of grammar. Also, as a grammarian, my role is to give you the word of the day. So for today, the word of the day is nascent. If, if you can see my screen, nascent means beginning to exist. It's like the beginning of something. That, for example, the actress is now focusing on a nascent career, singing career. So I will keep track of if all the speakers are encouraged to use the word of the day as much as possible, and they will be applauded whenever they use the word of the day. I will present my report at the end of the meeting when called upon by the general evaluator to do so. Back to you, Toastmaster Dalia.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Momita. Just one request, please put in the word of the day in the chat box as well, so that all of us are reminded to use the word over and over again. So, fellow Toastmasters, thank you. So, fellow Toastmasters, this was my tag team role players, and I am so excited to see what this beautiful meeting has to offer to each and every one of us. Let's face it, we are in Toastmasters to learn from one another. And me as well. I, as a general evaluator, nitpick your small little mistakes to learn from yours and not do it forward. So let's learn together, let's grow together, because that's what Toastmasters is all about. And I would like to hand this podium back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Richard.
Please join me in giving a round of applause for our wonderful general evaluator, Toastmaster Dalia. Now, coming back to the theme for today, one of the most traditional ways of going beyond our physical boundaries and stepping into the outer world is through books or movies. Now, whether it's a journey into the past with Anne Frank, a Jane Austen, or hurtling into the future with an H.G. Wells time machine, or maybe even landing up on a strange planet with the book A Wrinkle in Time, reading is a great way to travel to a new place. Maybe not just a place, but also into the minds of the author or the characters. That's also another great way to learn about the ideologies or the philosophies of people from all over the world. Now, while crafting speeches, reading is a great asset that specially makes up for people like me with a lack of experience. But today's speakers are both well read and well experienced, so you are definitely in for a treat today. Now, before I call our first prepared speaker, I'd like to call upon her evaluator to read out the objectives of her speech. I'd like to call the first evaluator, Toastmaster Shomita. Over to you, Toastmaster Shomita. Sorry, Toastmaster Shomita, we can't hear you.
Visible and visible now?
Yes.
Am I audible now?
Yes. Yes,
Thank
you
you.
are.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters of the day, and good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. Our first speaker for today will be delivering her speech from Presentation Masteries, and the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second speech. The speaker is delivering her level 1 project 2 first speech from feedback and evaluation. The purpose of this speech is for the members to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Timer, please note the timing is for 5 to 7 minutes, and all the best to the speaker. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shomita, for stating out the objectives so clearly. Now, coming to our first prepared speaker, we have with us Toastmaster Jayati. Toastmaster Jayati, Speed Breakers in Life. Speed Breakers in Life, Toastmaster Jayati. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yes, you're audible.
Good evening, everyone. An arrow can only be released by first pulling it back. So, when life pulls you back, it simply means that you're being launched into something amazing. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, respected guest. Today, I would like to share with you two major speed breaker incidents of my life because I used to pray during those days for what I have now. When I was 16, I was quite tall for my age, and so was the natural choice for a dance drama to be held during Durga Puja. It was a Bengali dance drama, and I had the lead role. Now, I was not a great dancer, so I practiced and practiced till I perfected my act. My excitement grew as the D-Day approached. After all, it was my first stage performance. So, 1 week before the final performance, we were called for a dress rehearsal. We were all there, the participants, their parents, the musicians, the teachers, the singers, everyone was there. My mom. So I was called on stage and we started our performance. In between my performance, I was asked to stop. I was told that my act was not good enough and that I would be getting another smaller role to play. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was devastated. Friends, imagine a 16-year-old was being told publicly that she had failed. The mental trauma which I went through that day was indescribable. I distinctly remember the aftermath of that. We went home, my mom and I, She opened the lock of the door and we let ourselves inside. I turned back and looked at her, and there she was with her arms wide open. I just let myself be swallowed into them. Then came the tears. You know, the kind of crying where you gasp for your breath. That. Now, I was in this phase for quite a few days, the phase of self-pity. No, I just didn't wallow in self-pity. I wrapped it around myself like a blanket from head to toe and rolled in it, self-pity, self-pity. It was never a pretty sight. Then one day I just give myself a shake, get up from that place, and dive straight back into life again, because I had realized that to move forward in life, you need to put your failure aside, not to ignore it, but to analyze and learn from it. Now, having said that, I would like to tell you that as I progressed in life, the word failure ceased to exist for me. Do you know how that happened for me? When I was contemplating on running my nursing home, I was given an offer. It was a very good and tempting offer. It was the offer of giving up my nursing home for leaves. The offer was so good that I wanted to grab it with both my hands, but there was a tiny voice inside my head which screamed and told me, no, you're not doing that. You have the capacity to run it yourself. I promptly told the voice to shut up. How can I? All this while, I was looking after my family and my home. And now suddenly I'm thrown into this running of this organization without any experience. Impossible. A week after that, I had to go to Kolkata. My uncle was ill, so I had to visit him. On the road, I wanted to have some tea. So I got down. I was sipping tea on the sidewalk. When I saw this boy, he was selling fresh flowers. Now, when he came up to me, he didn't beg me to sell his goods. Rather, he was trying to convince me as to why I should buy it from him. I was quite taken in by his approach, and I asked him about him and his family. He said he had studied till the 4th standard and couldn't go on anymore because his father had abandoned him, and he had 3 more mouths to feed, his mother and his sisters, who were 7 and 4, respectively, of age. And the whole well-being of the family rested on his tender shoulders. So then I asked him, what would he do if he couldn't make a sale? Immediately, he pointed to the dhaba across the room and he said, I will wash, clean, wait tables, but I will take back rupees 350 to feed my family. And when he's saying this, he had determination and confidence with all over his face. Failure was never an option for him. I completed my visit at my uncle's and I went back. Now, remember that voice, it was constantly telling me to kind of run my nursing home myself. I listened to it, and presently I run my nursing home. And as for the boy, the one I met, I call him my bouquet boy. He is incidentally the marketing manager of the whole of Secunderabad for Flipkart. We have kept in touch, and I did with his education. And I'm so very proud of him. I have learned never ever give up from him. Ladies, I hate failure. Simply hate it. Because I've learned the hard way that if you do not go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you do not ask your questions, your answer will always be no. And if you do not step forward, you will always remain where you are. So friends, time for you to come up and overcome those obstacles called speed breakers, because life is a fight and we do not give up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jayati, for such a powerful speech with a great message for all of us to take away. With that, I'd like to move on to our next prepared speaker. But before I call upon the podium, our prepared speaker, as the evaluator, I'd like to read out her speech objectives. The speaker will be delivering her Level 1, Project 3 on researching and presentation. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Timer, please note that the speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Now coming to our speaker herself, she is the PR queen of Division Q and a wonderful lady whom I've had the privilege of knowing both in offline as well as online sessions. And hearing a speech from her is definitely a treat for everyone. With that, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Toastmaster Nidhi.
Just a second before you introduce me, I need to know who's the timer because I need to tag.
Toastmaster Nasima. Her hand is raised.
Just a second. Okay, thank you. So sorry.
No problem.
Because I need to share.
Yes.
I'll pin her. I can't pin her. Why so? There's no option of pinning her. Why it's not coming?
I have pinned her. Does that help you?
No. I still cannot see her getting pinned. Okay, I got it.
You got it? All right. Toastmaster Nidhi? Yes.
I think I lost the connection.
Right. Shall we begin with your speech?
Yes.
Toastmaster Nidhi, 6 yards of elegance. 6 yards of elegance, Toastmaster Nidhi.
Good evening, all of you. Can any one of you tell me that which is that the oldest, the third most oldest traditional wear across the world? Raise of hands. You can unmute yourself and faster.
Sari.
Pardon me?
Sari.
Absolutely, Nasima, with utmost pride and honor, I have to tell you all that sari, yes, our Indian traditional wear is considered to be the third most traditional wear across the world. That reminds me, today I was decluttering my wardrobe and look what I found. My mother's sari, a beautiful piece of cloth. And when I bury my nose into it, I still can feel her presence. Nostalgia, isn't it? My mother always wore a sari. There was the times when I was ashamed of her wearing sari all the time, but gradually it faded away because she looked so beautiful in them. My mother and sari had a thick connection. She made sure that when I eat, I shouldn't be sitting beside her. Sari and I think all of us had a very thick bond. I remember my first day of wearing sari and how I tripped in it. How I was clueless to wear that sari all by myself after marriage. How my husband helped me to drape for the first time. From how I started designing it myself and selling in my boutique. Sari has lots of stories untold. So let me just regale you. Let me just regale you with this magical piece of cloth, sari, a 6 yard of elegance. So let me start with the evolution of sari. As we grew, the sari had also grown with us, with the women's growth. Saris was first worn by women of India, and it was mentioned in the Rig Veda in 3000 BC. Sari was just not a swathe of fabric for Indian men and women. It symbolizes tradition, it symbolizes craftsmanship, it symbolizes the prime example of rich difference of India's 29 states. Sari has seen the evolution like no other. The history of sari begins with the onset of the civilization itself. Now, there are many kinds of sari we all know, and the manner in which the women wear is significantly different from each state. Each drape, each style of wearing sari depicts a way, a woman's way to nurture herself, her beauty. It is so much like in Maharashtra, the way of wearing sari is such of a stark difference than a woman wearing a sari in Kerala or Tamil Nadu for that matter. Sari is also known for its different names: Lagda, Patti, Shari, Dhoti, Kapor, but it is also conceived differently in form and structure, usage and custom. The sari has lots to do with the motifs and textiles. And over the years, it is known by their textiles as well. For example, chikankari saris, we have Kanjivaram saris, Patola saris, Kalamkari saris, and Paithani saris. These saris are coveted amongst the sari kunjos over the world. Now, the manner in which the sari is worn in this era has a lot to do with the occupation and the style of a woman. Many women bunch it up in the pleats and wear it like a kancham style, like a pants. With their advancement in fashion, men and women have started experimenting with the saris. The blouse has replaced with jackets, coats. Now we have introduced belts on the saris. The saris can also be worn with pants and skirts. The saris have evolved with women, pretty synonymous as with the women's growth. Don't you think so? Sari has stood with us, has stood the test of time, has stood with us through thick and thin. This sari gives us, the sari gives us the confidence when we especially drape it around us as an original form of garment and show the world about our originality. With each pleat we drape, we rise to shine. And as we tuck it inside, we promise ourselves not to let go what we already have. And the last drape depicts itself, the confidence and the existence of women in this world. Now, it's my urge. In a nutshell, I have to say, it is imperative to be proud of your own traditional way. It's my urge to all of you to take sari with a pride, to wear it with a pride as a real and original form of garment, and show the world the unfiltered, the bona fide woman you are. Wear it with pride, wear it with honor, wear it with respect. Sari, a 6 yards of elegance. Sari, a 6 yards of purity, a 6 yards of beauty. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nidhi, for such a beautiful speech. And hats off to you for draping the sari in the middle of your speech as well to emphasize your point as well. Now, moving on to our next section for today. If you'll just give me a moment. So, when I was thinking about today's theme about how we can actually travel around the world despite this pandemic, I was scrolling through my social media feed when I saw all my friends, aka the mini master chefs, cooking these exotic dishes. Some Italian, some Mexican, and some ambitious ones even tried the French cuisine. But this year, in this lockdown, there was one drink that caught the attention of the masses. And the hint is that this drink has its roots in South Korea. Are there any guesses as to what the name of this drink was?
Dalgona coffee.
Oh,
Dalgona
yes.
coffee.
Yes, this was the famed Dalgona coffee, which I'm sure everyone has tried out at least once in their kitchen this year.
No, not in that category actually. I just saw it. I just scrolled over the Facebook pages.
But it still kept it in your mind long enough after a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So, this Dalgona coffee has its roots in South Korea, as I mentioned. And that's when I began to realize how we are using our kitchens as a base to travel a global cuisine. And that was the way that we were exploring the different flavors of the world. Now, when we're speaking of different flavors, the one thing that comes to my mind is the table topic section. And the reason is that the same topic can be spoken by multiple people, each giving their own distinct flavoring to this topic. So let's see what our chef, the table topic master, has cooked up for us today. With that, I'd like to hand over the podium to our table topic master, Toastmaster Shahida. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Madam Tiomedi. Two wonderful speeches in the nascent part of the day, of course, has set the mood for this beautiful evening. So let us begin with the most anticipated table topic section. Before we begin, we'd like to explain the details of this section. So table topics is an impromptu section of the session. And I, as a table topic master, will be giving you topics, and you, as the speaker, have to speak on those topics for minimum 1 minute and maximum 2 minutes, with a grace period of 30 seconds on the upper side. And here, again, guests have an option to change the topic. Why so? Only guests have that option. It's because they are in the nascent stage of their journey of learning with Toastmasters. And talking about the timing, we will be getting help from Toastmaster Nasima as we go on with our timing. Yes, and just to give the theme of the table topics, we are just days away from celebrating our regional New Year's. Call it the Poila Boishak in Bengal, or the Ugari in Andhra Pradesh, Vishu in Kerala, or Rongali Bihu in Assam, my home state. So I'm all ready for celebrating Bihu in a virtual manner. And of course, Guri Parva in Maharashtra. So New Year's is all about new beginnings. And our session today for tables topic will be about new beginnings. So I request all of you to please volunteer for this section, which is a great learning experience. And I was telling our president that only problem or only pain I have when I become the table topic master is because I do not get a chance to take part in this speech. So saying this, please volunteer. If you do not volunteer, we will be volunteering you. So waiting for the names. Yes. Let me just check.
Toastmaster Shahida, we have a hand raise from guest Maitri and Toastmaster
Maitri.
Shomita.
Okay.
So our first topic, just give me a minute. Our first topic for you, guest Metri, is life is all about new beginnings. I repeat, life is all about new beginnings.
Okay. So, yeah, life is all about this topic is actually a very interesting one. Life is all about new beginnings. Definitely, in every phase of life, in every moment of life, I feel that it is all about new beginnings. Remember the first time we started to walk, it was not a successful one, but that was even a new beginning for us, because without learning how to walk, we couldn't have learned how to run. So even that phase where a child learns how to walk by crawling on the floor is a new beginning. Again, in even in our workspace, or even in case of academics, there are new beginnings. For example, if we didn't even know how to write the first alphabets of a particular language, then I guess we wouldn't have learned how to write such long emails and such long paragraphs in our senior years. So even that was a new beginning for us, how to learn to how to write, to hear our mother's sweet mother tongue, and then to grasp it and accept, and then to grasp that knowledge, to give elaborate speeches to someone else, was also part of a new beginning. If we hadn't heard our mother tongue, then I guess we wouldn't have any idea about how to present ourselves with a language which we are so comfortable in. Again, this what should I say, this quizzes, this debate competitions and all that, these also have some new beginnings, and the new beginnings are not always the most beautiful ones, or but they are I mean, no one wins at the new, no one is a champion at the new beginning itself, but definitely these are the ones which helps us to nourish and nurture for what we grow in life to be. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guest Maitri Ghosh. Can we have all of us giving her a loud round of applause, please? Wonderful. Who would be our next speaker? Even evaluators can be. Yes. Thank you so much. So we go to Toastmaster Soumita Sengupta. And our next topic will be travel light. Empty your suitcase of the heavy negatives. Travel light. Empty your suitcase of the heavy negatives.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. This topic has a beautiful aspect to it. As a person, I love to travel light. Although at the beginning, at the nascent stage of my traveling, I traveled with heavy weight. I traveled, if I traveled to my hometown also, I would have carried 3 briefcases with me with lots of clothes. I felt that in a day, I would require 3 to 4 set of clothes to change and impress my friends, because that was the time when I was here in Kolkata for my job, and I want to make sure I look the best version of myself. Then life, as they say, life moves on, and I got hitched. And again, for the second time, I did the same mistake. I went to my honeymoon, and again, I traveled with huge weight. And there I realized, for 7 days honeymoon, I stayed at 5 places, different places, and I was so busy. Rather, we both were so busy packing and unpacking that I made myself determined that I have to travel light. And another aspect of this beautiful thought is travel light, not only with the weight or burden you carry physically, but with the weight and burden you carry in your head. With lot of exhaustive work hours, with lot of family chores, when you travel light, make sure you want to make the best out of it. Make the best out of every time. So, my friends, whenever these days I travel totally light. I have one briefcase or a backpack, and I make sure I look my best version with a mix and match of clothes. And I make sure I keep out my negativity, keep out my problem, keep out my paints, everything at my home and go to a new area and come back with a fresh bunch of air within me that gives me oxygen to breathe and survive the next 365 days with a lot of elan and goodness. Thank you, and back to you.
Shahida ma'am,
Wonderful. Yeah. Hi. It was a wonderful speech. In fact, I had not thought about so much while giving this topic as you had, elaborated in this last 2 minutes. Wonderful. So can we have the next speaker, please? Yeah, Nidhi. Hi, Toastmaster Nidhi. Wonderful. So our next speaker is Toastmaster Nidhi. And the topic for you is life is beautiful. You just have to look ahead. Life is beautiful. You just have to look ahead.
Nidhi,
and I also request, yes, you just
look
have to
at
look ahead.
Should I begin on?
Just one reminder, I request all the speakers to please use the word of the day as well. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Nidhi.
Nidhi, look at yourself. You're so fat. Your father must have to earn so much to get married. Your husband needs a dowry maintenance charges. Normal grooms need dowry, but your husband will be required with maintenance charges. Nidhi, stop dancing. You look like a fool. Nidhi, stop swimming. Are you mad? The water will come out of the pool. Good afternoon. Good evening, friends. These are things I have heard all through my life. But nothing has changed me. Nothing. But it wasn't like that when I was growing up. I moved into my cocoon, a shallow cocoon of away from the criticism and judgment. I thought the life's like this only, bizarre, full of negativity. But then something happened. I got an opportunity to play a lead role at Drama and Play and won the Best Actress prize. Voila, things changed after that. And I became super confident and extrovert being. That's what happened when we see life beautiful beyond what people make us see, isn't it? Like Vidya Balan, for example, she has been body shamed all through her life. I think all through her Bollywood life, but she made sure to do films with dignity, with power, and where the talent matters the most. So I would urge all of you to be yourself, to see life beautiful, because there is an endless category and the parameter in which society will judge you with your beauty. It is endless. So be yourself, because your dreams need flight. You can be either short or taller in height. Your color is yours. Nobody can make you mediocre with their shed card of beauty. So on that note, table topic master, don't you agree with me that life is beautiful beyond what people actually make you see? Thank you.
So true. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nidhi. Wonderful take on life. May I request now guest Maheshwata ma'am to please be a part of the table topic?
Hi, all. Good evening, Toastmaster, all the Toastmasters, and everyone, all the ladies here. This is Mahashweta. I'll try to, it's a new beginning in my life. I have come out of my cocoon being a housewife and being a homemaker. So let's see how I do here.
Wonderful. We really look forward to wishing you all the best. And the topic for you is new. New is the spice of life. I repeat, new is the spice of life. Are you comfortable with the topic?
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. New is the spice of life. This is not a nascent idea. Our parents are always telling us from the very beginning when we were in our kindergarten school that we have to adjust and take things as it comes with lots of diligence, hard work. We have to take it. And in my life also, things turned and things took a new shape every time. When I was a student, that time, when I became a wife, that time also it was something new, a new life, a new family. When I became mother, it's a whole new world. Taking children to school, bringing back them home, making their homework done. Even every day in dinner, the things were new. We have to find out ways how to put the vegetable inside the stomach of your children. Everything was new. And it was a great feeling to do things in a different way, in a different manner, so that the family runs in a very harmonized way. So things are new to us, but things are equally interesting to us also. So that's it. That's what I would like to tell you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Meshwata ma'am, amazing take on this new thing. Thank you so much. And I request other guests to please come forward and take part, please. Madam President, yes, if you can help me out.
Toastmaster Navo has raised her hand. Toastmaster
Yes. Hi, Toastmaster Navonaya. We can't see you. Is it possible to see you?
I'm sorry, my webcam is not working actually.
No worry. Okay, no worry. So, Madam Evaluator, I think we can go without the video. That's okay, correct? Okay. So, the next topic is old is gold. So, should we replace it with the new? It is said that old is gold. Should we ever try replacing it with the new?
Okay. It's one of the interesting topics, and I like to bring it in the idea of we come from a generation where we have heard from our parents and grandparents the great Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and such legendary tales, and some of the great classics by all the region-based texts. But honestly, I never had the time to read them. Due to my course or my studies, I never got to read them. So I have watched the adaptation version in the web series or through the movies. And when I sit and watch along with my parents, they come up with the idea of definitely it's no way match the text. So the idea is the whether the gold, which is the classic gold novels that we have, are we able to restore them in the proper, the best version? Maybe not, according to my parents and the people who have actually read the text. But for me, I have at least got to know a version, or at least got the intrigued by the idea of what exactly the text is, and maybe I'll go back and read the original version. So old is gold definitely, and we cannot replace it. But maybe we can get a version which which would like the students or anyone who's a new beginner to go back to the original roots of the text or any other form. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful speech. May I request Priya ma'am to please participate. Toastmaster Priya, please. Would you like to participate today?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the last speech for the evening. So the topic is a new habit that you have introduced in your life of late. A new habit, something new.
New habit.
Habit.
Okay. It's a wonderful topic, Toastmaster Saida. Every person has different beautiful habits, acceptable or not acceptable. But some are so good that everyone likes to follow that. About my Myself, I have various good habits, but recently I have developed a track for developing myself, improve myself to a good extent, because there are something which I did not do for the last 15, 16 years, and I wish to do that. So I have started learning. I'm looking at life with a new perspective. I have started learning beautiful things, like I just uh, uh, took mm, online vocal classes to improve my beats, beat concept. I have started uh, I'm playing ukulele under the guidance of my son. So I thought I have to improve myself. I have to keep busy my everyday life, because I am free now. So these are the things which help me, which are helping me feel good, and it increases my dopamine level also, so that I feel happy and very confident these days. Uh, that's all about. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that is all that we have from Table Topics. Wishing you happy Bihu, Shubha, Shankranti, and all the beautiful festivals in the next 2-3 days. Let there be happiness and health at your homes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topic Master. Thank you so much, Madam Table Topic Master, for such an enthusiastic table topic section, and for taking up the role last minute yesterday night, and yet coming up with an amazing theme for table topics with great topics as well. Now, coming back to the theme for today, globetrotting in 2020-2021 may have been put on hold, but this pause gives us something called the gift of time to consider how we can travel more consciously, perhaps. Now, whether it means a shift from traveling to touristy places to those less traveled, both for health concerns as well as to broaden our experiences, or even appreciate things like a walk near the home, or near a park nearby, or a long road trip. Now, travel in the last 1 year may have been restricted, but it's brought in a few good things too. And these help us realize just how good it can be to pause, to reflect on our past, and plan better for the future. And at Toastmasters, we ensure at every meeting that we do this in our third and most important evaluation section. So, to help us reflect and better our speeches and role plays, I would request our general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Dahlia, to take the platform. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. And it was a wonderful, wonderful session. Let's all applause for ourselves because we created this beautiful masterpiece today with all of us. Now, before going on to the detailed evaluation of the entire session, I'd like to call upon the evaluator for the first speaker to please come up on the stage and evaluate the first speaker.
I will have again a quick check. Am I audible? Thank you. Life is a traffic jam where every problem is a speed breaker, thus allowing you to readjust your speed. Quoting a famous person, and today Toastmaster Jaita's speech exactly made me feel so. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Jaita for presenting such an inspiring speech with a strong message imbibed in it. And you had a lot of key takeaways for us. I love the fact that at the conclusion, you have used strong statements like, I have learned to never give up. I have learned the harder way. Life is a fight, don't give up. The second thing which I liked about your speech is the uses of personal story, which was very simple and easy to understand. And thus, Using personal story gives us the credibility of the speech and as of the speaker, because personal stories always create an impact on the audience which we have never heard before. Good job on that. And the third thing which I liked about your speech is the content crafting or the content flow. It was fluid and it was a perfect blend of intro, body, and conclusion, where a guest can also grab what you intend to tell us and deliver today. So these are the three recommendations from my side. And now coming to the recommendation area. The first recommendation area I have for you is the stage uses. As you started with a strong statement, an arrow can be released by only pulling back. And I have two stories to share with you all. So there you got the absolute chance of using the two sides of the stage and deliver your speech. So when I say about stage uses, you could have started where you delivered the speech was the center of the stage, where you could have started with the introduction of your beginning line and slightly shift to the left part of the stage, where you can deliver the first part and then again have a light transition to the second right part of the stage and deliver your second part of the speech. So that would make us feel that there are two stories in this track. The second part was the voice modulation, because your speech had a lot of blend of emotional upheaval. So the voice modulation, which I felt was a big miss. So when you told us the first story narrated like a 16-year dreams was crashed and how you recoiled yourself, and when your mama uh, asked you that day and you went into her arms. So that point of time, I had the expectation that there will be a subtleness in your voice and you will slow down and you will say, I sobbed and tears were flowing in my eyes. So this kind of voice modulation you could try to incorporate. And the third thing was the pause in your speech. Since there were two sections of the speech, so the pause would have added much more drama to your speech when you took us to the second part of the speech, like I was coming to Kolkata to meet my uncle. So there I somehow found that both the stories clubbed together to give 2-3 seconds of deliberate pause. Overall, I would like to say, when it comes to this beautiful journey of speech crafting, please come and deliver with Elan and keep up your inspiring story with a personal touch and a good content flow. Just add a little bit of voice modulation, and work on stage users, and you're going to rock the show. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Somita, for that wonderful evaluation. And before moving on to the evaluation of the first speaker, I'd like to evaluate the evaluator herself. Ma'am, you created a beautiful masterpiece right here with CRC method. It was completely and beautifully followed. Just two recommendations. First is the time management. You were still going on with your first commendation when the green card came in. Because of that, you had to rush your third recommendation and you had to summarize very, very quickly. So for the future, you could be or make the time management a priority in evaluation, because that is sometimes which is extremely important. And the second is the camera positioning. When you were explaining to the speaker herself that how she could have hugged her mother, we couldn't see your arms. Like I could see your shoulders and could understand that you were making the expression of hugging, but your hands weren't visible. But apart from that, with these two recommendations, I'm sure you'd go miles and miles, because I loved each and every point that you said. You ticked off everything that was written on my ballot itself. So thank you so much and kudos. And you had beautifully handpicked the points. So thank you so much for that wonderful evaluation. Moving to the first speaker, Toastmaster Jayati. Toastmaster Jayati, you gave an inspirational, encouraging, and motivational speech. You encouraged each and every one of us that there are going to be hardships in life, but we have to face it and fight it like you did. So kudos to you for doing that, and it was wonderful, backed by the personal stories that you had. Just one extra commendation. Apart from what your evaluators already said, you were moving a little too much. You're friskly moving in your screen. So if you could stand still or have a better stage movement or a more aligned stage movement, that would help you. But apart from that, I absolutely loved your facial expressions, hand gestures, personal stories, and most of all, how amazing the starting and the ending was. It was so motivational that each one of us were motivated right there. So kudos to you for doing that, and all the best for your future speeches, ma'am. Moving on to the second evaluator for the day. May I have the second evaluator who would be evaluating the second speaker?
Yes, hi, Toastmaster Ravi. So from wrapping our heads in our mother's archel to draping the 6-yard sari on our own, we all grew up. And that is the power of a timeless classic like a sari. And Toastmaster Nidhi, today you delivered a powerful and inspiring speech that was a classic in itself. The first thing that I really liked about your speech was your audience interaction. Right from the start, you had a question where you said, who knows what that third oldest traditional wear is? And through this, you were able to establish a connection and energy with the audience when they felt seen and heard and raised their hands and answered. The second thing that I really liked about your speech was the fact that you had two of these very personal stories. The first drape of your sari that you did with the help of your husband, as well as when you buried your face in your mother's sari. Through these two personal stories, you established an emotional connect with the audience, and with the prop of the sari itself, you were able to drive this even further and amp it up. The third thing that I really liked was your presentation itself. In terms of the structure, you started with the evolution of a sari, and then you talked about how each drape is related from state to state, how it changes, or what kind of names that it has from each state, to what kind of textiles are used, and how the sari has evolved to include blouses and belts and scarves and more. And the third, and still that even then you still had a third segment which was a message for your audience as to why we as women should embrace wearing a sari as well. So kudos to you on that. Now, just as every time that we drape our sari, our mothers will still come and say there's still something that you can do better. As your evaluator, I'll be giving you a couple of recommendations as well. The first is in terms of your transition in the speech. You had an audience interaction question at the start and you'd waited for the answer. However, from that, you directly said that this reminds me of an incident which seemed a little rehearsed. If instead you would have said, speaking of saris, one of my favorite memories is, and then gone on, the transition would have been a little smoother. The second would be in terms of your body language. You moved a lot of back and forth movement, which wasn't very cohesive. And I think this was because you were trying to control a PPT, have an audience interaction, as well as move back to show the sari. For this, one recommendation would be to raise the level of your laptop so that you would be far enough away and use a mouse so that you don't have to be too close so your head doesn't get cut off. And the third recommendation is in terms of statistics. Statistics are the backbone of any kind of research and presentation, and you had scope for adding. When you talked about the third oldest, where did you get that citation from? Or the images that you used, if you could have added a reference with where you got each image. Overall, you had great audience interaction, wonderful personal story, and a great structure. If you just take care of the transition, the body language, and the statistics, I'm sure that your speech will be even more impactful. I, for one, am totally inspired by your speech, and I'm just waiting to drape my mother's sari and remind myself to wear it with pride, with honor, and dignity. Thank you for that speech. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
This is what we call a picture perfect evaluation. Amazing commendations, amazing recommendations, and the speaker is so happy to hear everything that the evaluator has said. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Ruchira. The time management was beautiful. It is something that I need to learn myself from you, how beautifully you manage your time throughout so that you did not only have a good beginning, but also you completed right at the time and had a wonderful, nice conclusion that you would wear your mother's sari with pride, honor. So that was beautifully, beautifully done. I don't have any recommendations for you, ma'am. You were wonderful. Moving on to the speaker. Again, Toastmaster Ruchira has covered all the points. Just one commendation that I think she missed, or I would personally like to mention, is the voice modulation. Your voice modulation throughout the 7-minute speech was wonderful, absolutely spectacular. And there was pinches of humor that you like to incorporate. Like when you talked about your honeymoon, that was really, really wonderful. I'm sure each and every one of us could actually feel that or could go back to the memories, whoever had them. So that was really nice. The touch of humor, such a beautiful topic, was wonderful. Just one recommendation again, Toastmaster Ruchira has already mentioned, was the camera positioning. Like your forehead was half cut off and you were trying to juggle so many things with the sari and the camera that it could have been missed. But apart from that, a wonderful, amazing and informative speech from your end. Thank you and keep coming onto the podium. We love having you. Okay. I'd like to take the report from my tag role players. The timer can please come up and tell us the timing of all the role players who have come in. So the timer for the day.
Thank you, General Evaluator. The prepared speech, in prepared speech, Toastmaster Jayati took 7 minutes 27 seconds. Toastmaster Nidhi took 7 minutes 41 seconds, slightly exceeding the time limit and hence disqualified. Evaluation, in evaluation, Toastmaster Somita. First of all, I would like to ask apology to you for showing the green card at first minute by mistake. But anyway, you are within the time limit and you took 3 minutes 28 seconds to do the evaluation. And Toastmaster Ruchita, you took 3 minutes 16 seconds. And going to table topics, first participant Maitri took 1 minute 47 seconds. Second, Somita took 2 minutes 11 seconds. Third participant Nidhi took 2 minutes 24 seconds. Fourth participant Maheshweta took 1 minute 14 seconds. Fifth participant Navonya took 1 minute 44 seconds. And the last participant Priya took 2 minutes 14 seconds. Thank you and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nasima, for that wonderful report. And I hope and I wish that you keep coming onto the stage and remove the stage fright altogether, because you have played this role wonderfully today. And just a small note to Toastmaster Jayati, Toastmaster Nidhi, and Toastmaster Shomita, you all were really, really close. And Toastmaster Nidhi, you need to work on your time management skills. So next time, let's make sure we are not so close to the timing so that we are safe and sound right there. Moving on to the counters report to check if we have made sure that the balance of all the spices were there or not in our speeches. We have the counter for the day. Toastmaster Neelu, ma'am, can we please have your report?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Good evening again, my dear fellow Toastmaster. These days, I have a nascent passion to learn new things in Toastmaster by taking up various roles. And this is my third counter role of the day, 2 in English meeting and 1 in Hindi meeting. So here is the report of this WIN Toastmaster Club counter. Toastmaster Dahlia used a twice, so twice, and once. Toastmaster Ruchira was flawless. Toastmaster Somita once and once. Toastmaster Jayati a couple of times, so couple of times. Toastmaster Nidhi once. Toastmaster Shaida multiple times, multiple times, and multiple times. Guest Matri goes twice. Toastmaster Priya used few repetitive words a couple of times, so many times. Mahasweta, so couple of times, and Navanya a multiple of time, so couple of times. So this was the report. Other than all the speaker were flawless. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Neelu. A wonderfully and very creative way you said, and your introduction was very nice. I just wish that you would have carried on that flavor and said something that the people whose name I did not take did have a flawless, as in a best spice mixture of all. So I just think that would have just blended it all. But apart from that, you were absolutely wonderful. Third role for the day and best role for the day. Moving on to the third and the final tag role player, we have the grammarian, Toastmaster Momita. Can we please have the grammarian's report?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters once again. So there We have a wonderful session today, and I have listed down our long list of good usage of grammar, few of which I would like to mention here. First is reading is a great way to travel. To move forward in your life, you need to keep your fears aside. Study are 6 yards of elegance, blend of emotional upheaval. There and the list goes on. So apart from that, there are few not so good uses of grammar, like making their homework done could have been said helping with their homework. Likes to be followed could have been said likes to follow. And the word of the day, nascent, has been used once by guest Maheshwata. That's all from mine. Back to you, Toastmaster Dalia.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Momita. Your report was really nice, well structured. You mentioned the good usages, the bad usages of grammar, and that was really, really nicely done. Just one recommendation: if you could bring about more of energy into your report, it just brings about a good energy, a good vibe to each and every one of us hearing. But apart from that, you did a wonderful and a fabulous job. Keep on doing it. Now I have this humongous task in front of me to go about the entire meeting as a whole. But apart from that, I just like to say that the voting link has been shared. So I request each and every one of you to please go and vote for the best. Moving on to the evaluation of the entire meeting. I'm so sorry, apologies. I joined in a little late, so I missed the SARS introduction to which is the opening and the presidential address. I joined midway during the Timor speech. So I start off from there, and if you need any commendations, I think the SAR, which is Toastmaster Reva, you can take it from Toastmaster Ruchira. She's always there to guide you and help you with any recommendations you want. Moving on with Toastmaster Ruchira, you took us to a journey while we were sitting on our chairs attending this meeting, through our kitchens and the food, and through the authors of your book. You were absolutely flawless, and the transition from one phase, which was the prepared speech section, to the table topic section, to the grammar, to the general evaluation section, that was absolutely flawless. You did it wonderfully, with the best thing, which was each and every section that you told us and you talked about was something different. First, you talked about the books and the authors, and then you talked about the food that we had. And the other thing that I absolutely love, that you made it as engaging as possible by asking multiple questions. So we were on our toes. What is the Toastmaster of the day going to ask next? And that is something that keeps us hooked and engaged into the entire session. And you did that job very, very well. So kudos to you for doing that, and a wonderful, wonderful job done. Amazing, hands down. Moving on to the table topic speakers. The first table topic speaker, we have Maitri Ghosh. Guest, do we still have her?
Yes, I'm there.
So, guest Maitri, your topic was life is all about new beginnings. So you took an extremely amazing topic. You took an extremely good take on the topic, and you took us back to your childhood. How the first steps were a new beginning, how writing the first letter was a new beginning, and how everything that we did was a new beginning. So beautiful chain of thoughts, and you did it wonderfully. Just one thing that could be changed was that you need to keep coming on the stage, because you did sound a little hesitant while coming on the stage. So once you keep coming and doing the entire table topic, which is one of the best parts of a table topic session, you will be absolutely amazing. Moving on to the second speaker, Toastmaster Somita. Travel light and learn to reload the negativity. So that was a wonderful, wonderful topic, firstly. And secondly, your take on the topic was even better. You talked about your honeymoon. You talked about how you used to pack so much. So having a personal story in a table topic is extremely important, and you did that wonderfully. Just one recommendation: there were two sides to this particular topic. Just like we have two sides of a coin, there were two sides of this particular topic. The second topic that you talked about, which is the second part of the topic of how we should unload all the negativity from our lives, you started that at a very later phase. You started that at midway of your yellow card. So if you could have talked more about it, how you do need to reload or unload the negativity and take all the positivity that you get from life, that could have been more inspiring and motivational. And towards the end, you could have had a beautiful closing remark. But apart from that, you had amazing one. You had humor, you had beautiful personal stories, and you could have backed it by another take on the topic, which would have made it a little wholesome. But apart from that, it was wonderful. Moving to the third speaker, we have Toastmaster Nidhi. Yes, Toastmaster. There we have. Life is beautiful. You just have to look ahead. Your topic, your take on the topic was absolutely motivational and inspirational. The way you started off by seeing the comments that you have heard all your life. Ma'am, I'm telling you, each and every one of us have heard some comment or the other. Nobody is perfect, and the society is right there to point it out to us. So beautiful and a wonderful job done by seeing all the comments and by seeing how you overcame them, so that we also get a chance that, okay, we are listening this, but like Toastmaster Nidhi, we also have the power and the passion to overcome each and every negativity out there. Just one thing, again, the camera positioning and the time management. Again, since the timer is already set, you were very, very close to the timing card, I believe. Am I wrong? I believe I am wrong. The timer. Okay, we could recheck that after. But apart from that, you took a beautiful take on the topic. You had beautiful introduction and a great conclusion. And keep on coming and keep on doing this, ma'am. You were wonderful. Okay, we have this fourth speaker as Maheshwata Chatterjee. Is she here with us? Yes, we have. Ma'am, your topic is new, is the spice of life. New is the spice of life. When you came about, you had wonderful introduction about yourself, of how you are a housewife and a housemaker, and how you have so new avenues of yourself. A wonderful, it takes long to come up onto the podium and speak on the tabletop for the very first time. You were doing that wonderfully. A wonderful chain of you had a personal story backed by how it was a new beginning when you got married, when you had children, how every new experience was a new day for you, new beginning for you. But just a little thing, the first time I could see that you came in, but if you have spoke a little more, ending was a little awkward. But apart from that, you had a wonderful chain of thoughts and you took a very, very, very great take on the topic. Then we have the speaker 5. Do we have the speaker 5? Yes, we do. Guest Novia, your topic was old is gold, and should we replace it with the new one? You talked about the epics such as Mahabharata and Ramayana and how you wanted or you wished to learn from it and to read it over a course of time. So that was a wonderful take on topic. You had a great chain of thought again, and kudos to you, ma'am. Please keep on coming. Please keep on practicing, and that's what's gonna make you on the top of the reel always. Last but not the least, we have our sixth speaker, Toastmaster Priya. Good evening, Toastmaster Priya, and may you take up many more new things and many new hobbies that are going to make you even more happier than you are right now. You talked about so many new hobbies that you took along this pandemic and how it keeps you happy. So no commendations for you. Please keep on taking more hobbies, coming on the stage, and that's what's going to make you happy and nice. So that's going to be amazing. Okay. So that was a wonderful session, a very difficult one to evaluate, I must say. Nobody did anything wrong, and I missed Toastmaster Shahida, table topic master Toastmaster Shahida. You had wonderful topics right aligned. And one thing that I absolutely loved about your speech, you were asking the guests, ma'am, are you comfortable with it or not? Because many a times the table topic master gives a topic, the guest speaks for around 20-30 seconds and then just stops. But you asked at the very beginning, ma'am, if you're comfortable with it or not, and they were. So you made all of them at ease, and that is something we all appreciate. And thank you so much for taking the role for the last time. Toastmaster of the day, you also took up the role for the last time. Thank you so much. And you were the evaluator as well, so thank you as well. So that was a wonderful session, and handing the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ruchira.
Please give me a round of applause in giving our general evaluator for thanking her for this wonderful role that she too took up last minute yesterday evening. Now coming back to the theme and trying to end the theme for today. This is one of the quotes that really motivates me because, in the end, we don't regret the chances we do take, we regret the ones we don't. And our passports may be lying unused right now, and we don't have the chance to physically travel from different parts of the city, let alone the rest of the world. But let's make the best of this opportunity that we can. Let's pick up that book that we've been putting off for months and travel into a whole new world. Let's look for that perfect recipe online and bring another country's flavor to our smorgasbord. And most of all, let's just click on the next Zoom link that we receive on our Toastmasters group and go visit a new place, meet, and rejuvenate ourselves. With that, I come to the end of the theme of the day and I'll transition into the role of the president for the closing address. So I'd like to remind everyone to please vote and please remember that the voting is link is open for both guests as well as Toastmasters. And while the votes come in, I'd like to take a little bit of feedback from our guests today to know how they felt about the session and if there are any points that you would recommend us to improve. I'd like to start by asking guest Maitri if you'd like to share how your experience was today.
It was actually an amazing experience. I learned so many things, like where I'm going, like what are my mistakes or the loopholes that I am doing when I'm presenting myself on the virtual podium. So I guess that was the best thing I actually learned from this. And I also heard the other fellow Toastmasters speaking about their topics and presenting in the best way they could, and like it was an amazing experience for me.
Thank you so much, guest Maitri, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed our session today evening. I'd like to ask guest Maheshwata, how did you enjoy the session if you have any feedback for us?
First of all, thank you all. It was a dilemma for me to come here and speak after so many years. And thank you all for being so patient and dealing with me, like my words, usage of words. And they were all, you people all were so good and encouraging me. And the table topic, ma'am, she was really good that she asked me whether you want to change it or not. So it was like, ice breaking session for me. So that's a great feeling because you don't have this feeling everywhere. It's a great feeling here to empower a woman in words. I would say here you are empowering a person with their words and their language, the grammar. The grammar ma'am was also very good. At least she is the one who pointed out all the differences, all the words to be used and not to be used. So it was very encouraging and very good. For me, it is very good. I am very happy to be here today.
Thank you so much for that wonderful feedback. And I think you've given us a wonderful tagline for our WIN Toastmasters Club, empowering women through words. So I think we're going to take that back from you today. And with the mention of the word icebreaker, you have unconsciously already started your journey as a Toastmaster because an icebreaker is the first speech that, as soon as you become a member, that's the first speech that you would deliver. So we hope to have you as a member with us very soon as well. Thank you so much for such a wonderful feedback. I'd also request our guest Navunaya to please let us know what she felt about today's session.
The first beginning section, it was nice experience to know, and it was very relatable to both the sari and how important it is to go ahead and keep fighting. And then the next section was one where I was expecting to be a silent spectator or a listener rather. And then I see we get a chance to be a part as well, so that is very interesting. And the last section was where which I was new, because I was expecting the session to get close in the very second one. And then I see this is a part where we get to learn and then improve. So I think I love this session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, guest Navu. Thank you so much for coming. And I'll take the last feedback from our guest for the last time, guest Kalpita, if you'd like to share how you felt about today's session.
Well, hi. Yes, let me just tell you, the prepared speeches that were given by Toastmaster Jaita and Toastmaster Nidhi was really wonderful. And everybody spoke so well today. Like I felt somewhere there was a lot of improvement. Even I was seeing in everybody. Like when I saw the first time how even the table topics that were taken up by individuals, how they were being dealt with and how they're being dealt now. It's wonderful. Like even I also feel like I will take a lot of feedback, a lot of learning from everyone, all the Toastmasters here, on how they are preparing themselves. They play such a good role and they speak so well with quotations in the beginning, sometimes in the end. So it was really nice. I'm joining and from Monday. I've spoke as I said. So yes, from the next time I'll be working as a member here.
That's
Thank
great.
you so much.
That's wonderful, and we'd love to induct you as a member next Sunday at our meeting. With that, before we close, let me announce what the voting results for our role players are. So this is just something that we do to help motivate our role players. So the best speaker, and before I announce, please join me in giving a warm round of applause to the best speaker of the day, Toastmaster Jayati. Our best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Shomita. The best role player category 1, which includes the general evaluator, the Toastmaster of the day, and the table topic master, goes to our general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Dahlia. Now, the best role player for category 2, which includes the timer, the hour counter, grammarian, sergeant at arms, and the president, is a tie between 3 people, an absolute equal split between our timer, Toastmaster Nasima, our hour counter, Toastmaster Neelu, and the president, myself. And for the best table topic speaker, we have the guest Mahashweta as the winner. And for our most improved speaker, we have Toastmaster Shahida.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
With that, we come to the official end of this sixth chapter meeting of WIN Toastmasters Club, and I invite all of you to join in again next Sunday, same time, 6:30 p.m. Thank you and bye-bye.
Will I also be able to get the chance to join this meeting next Sunday even?
Yes, absolutely. I'd share the meeting link with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, Shomita Dee.
Bye, Rishita, lovely conductor. You've become a champion now, impromptu.
I'll be honest.